Okay, good morning to all of you. Now we are going to start our fifth day, second presentation, and this presentation will be from Tata Steel. So I welcome to Dr. Itishree Mohanty. In short, Dr. Itishree Mohanty working as a principal researcher at R&D Tata Steel Jamshedpur. She developing soft computing models to predict, control, and optimize the plant processes. She has done a significant amount of work in mechanical properties prediction and optimization for both cold roll and the hot roll steel. Currently, she is working in materials modeling and product design group. Dr. Mohanty PhD thesis is about enhancing steel using data synthesis platform. And she published 8 international journal paper and 4 international conference and 2 book chapters. Dr. Mohanty, can you please start your talk?
Thank you for the nice introduction. Let me share my screen first. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. This is Itishree Mohanty, as the introduction was given from Tata Steel R&D. I will be delivering the lecture on AI in material science. Mainly, I would cover how AI is being used in the area of prediction, characterization, alloy design, and optimization. And whatever case studies and examples I'll be discussing that is related to the steel industry. Before starting, let's have a just some quick introduction on artificial intelligence, what it covers. As everybody is talking about artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning a lot nowadays. Artificial intelligence, as you know, it is artificial intelligence. What are the things it covers? What are the algorithm it covers? What we are using our in applications in steel industry or in material science. Rule-based systems, expert systems, and all machine learning algorithms are subsets of artificial intelligence. And what are being covered in machine intelligence? Machine intelligence, you will be having artificial neural network, deep neural network, SVM, clustering, genetic algorithm. All these algorithms are coming under machine learning. Then machine learning is subset of artificial intelligence and deep learning is subset of a machine learning. That and we'll be discussing here to related to the product development and its properties, prediction, optimization, and characterization. First, we will discuss what are the first principles first, then we'll show the practical examples on this. Let's get started. When we deal with a material in steel, what generally products properties we need, we actually desire for. Tensile properties, microstructure, corrosion and bendability, formability, weldability properties, and special properties like fatigue, HER, toughness, R bar, other things. What is common in all these properties? We need to do the characterization. We cannot go away with it. Without characterization, we will not be able to validate it. And then also the mathematical modeling. Various mathematical modeling tools are available and equations are available to estimate these properties. How you are going to achieve these properties, we'll see it further. Suppose, as a, all, I hope maximum people will be here from metallurgy or material science background. So the strength prediction, this is a linear equation which come with some weighted factors of carbon, manganese, nickel, and many other parameters. It is very simple, but it is not. When suppose you are working on this, then you go to your supervisor, then your supervisor tells no, this cannot be so linear. When you are changing manganese in presence of carbon, then it will impact differently. Then you will add one more factor to it. Some weightage percentage of carbon multiplied by percentage of manganese. Then a few days later, again you thought, no, this cannot happen. This can be a function of a sine and a tan hyperbolic like this. So this process will go on because you are not sure what is the exact equation and where I will get the properties which will close to the actual property when I will test it. You are doing just trying to manually updating the coefficients and trying to match it. But exactly this is not the way to do it. And nothing in this world is a linear. Even your mind doesn't think linearly. So if you need to understand the nonlinearity and you need to capture it. So and whatever may be the complexity is lying here, you need existing complexity. You need to capture it and process it. Just for the simplification will not solve the purpose. Suppose I will represent this linear equation like this. Suppose you have carbon here, you have phosphorus, and you need to estimate this toughness. And you are multiplying this with some weighted factors and processing, summing it up and estimating this toughness. This is nothing but the I would say the neural network representation of a regression algorithm. But here, when you will test it, you will not get the property as desired because it is not being captured here. How, for capturing the nonlinearity, what you will do? You will need to introduce some nonlinear factor to the system. When you are approximating the output from the input, you need to introduce some nonlinear factor. Tan hyperbolic is a very good, very flexible and very good function for capture the nonlinearity. The way you want it can be captured. If you want to establish the relationship like this, it will also capture. If you like to establish the relationship in a smooth one, that also it will capture. Suppose you want to add too much complexity to the system, then you can add layers of a nonlinearity to the system so that it can capture these cells. This is how we are going to capture the nonlinearity so that the output can be approximated from the inputs. If I represent the same thing in a neural network structure, you have the inputs, whatever inputs you have, and you have the output as toughness. Then how you are calculating the output? First, you are calculating this carbon, phosphorus, or ill with some factors. Then you are applying the nonlinearity factor to that. And for here theta is the bias, like the constants in a regression equation. That's how you are estimating the output from the input. If you need to suppose in one layer you are not being able to capture the nonlinearity, then you can add number of layers. That's how neural network works. What are the limitations here in artificial intelligence? First one is the overfitting. What is overfitting? Suppose you have established an equation to predict one output from a set of inputs. When you are testing for unknown cases using that equation or that model, then you are observing you are not being able to predict it properly. You can see, suppose these black dots are your model output and these white dots are your actual. So here you are not being able to predict it properly under fitting. If you add too much complexity to the model, this will happen the case like C. Then you are predicting very well. And when you are going whatever data you have considered for developing the model, outside that, then you are very poorly you are predicting. What is happening here? Your test error is increasing. You can see this is called the when the complexity is increasing, your training error is decreasing, or the test error is increasing. That's it, that you cannot accept this model. So you need to develop a model with the optimum complexity where your training error and test error will be as close as possible. As you can see here, this is smooth prediction. This is one limitation of this, and we'll discuss how we will be handling those things. Then uncertainties. Suppose I would say you this is 2468. How this works? If the next number I will ask you, what will be the next number? Can anybody tell? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. What can be the next number? Next number will be 10. As usual, everybody will immediately tell. But it depends upon the what equation I am fitting with this. If I fit with this equation, then the next number can be 8.91, can be 7.64 also. For this equation, fitting with these numbers, initial, I have using this equation and using the numbers, I have developed this equation. But I am not developed it is x plus 2, like this, you can see. These are the numbers, these three numbers I have developed using x plus 2. If I use the equation, and these will be my numbers. If I use this equation as the function approximation, then these will be my numbers. Then you can see how much uncertainty is there. These things also need to be handled in model when we are developing any model. Now let's come to our first discussion, how AI is being used in prediction. Here I have taken the example of a mechanical property prediction in thin slab caster or rolling. As you can see, as you know, in thin slab caster, after continuous casting, we have the furnace, then we reheat it, then we roll it, then we cool it and coil it. These are the broadly, I would say, the metallurgical process happens in TSCR. Here we are doing the phase change operations. Here metallurgical operations are dissolution of precipitation and homogenization. And in rolling, we are doing recrystallization and precipitation. And final, during cooling, you are happening phase transformation and precipitation. These are the metallurgical phenomena happening here. How we are going to capture this and going to use this in predicting mechanical properties. As this free energy change, phase change, all these metallurgical phenomena are happening. But when we are collecting a data, we need to collect the data which impact the process metallurgically. Right? Indirectly, how we will capture the phase change? We'll capture the collect the data which is indirect measure of those metallurgical processes, like this: chemical composition, heating cycle and temperature, the reduction schedule, how much reduction we are giving, the rolling speed, then FRT-CT. These are the indirect measure of those metallurgical changes what is happening during this process. We are using those parameters and developing an AI-based prediction model which is giving us YS, UTS and a percentage elevation. How we have developed this? We have collected data which represent, as I explained in the last slide, the coil dimensions, slab dimensions, its a composition, it's a furnace parameters, it's rolling parameters, and it's a finish rolling temperature, coiling temperature, rolling speed. All those parameters we are considering, which will metallurgically contributing to estimate the properties. In that, we have developed a neural network based model. As you can see here, it is a single layer, hidden layer neural network model. And we are predicting YS, UTS and a percentage elongation. Around 11,000 coils we are taken to develop this model. And this is the training size, you can see test size is this. And performance mean square error we have calculated. Training algorithm, scale conjugate gradient algorithm I have used, and number of layer is 1. And earlier I had discussed how the neural network algorithm is working. First, we are taking these inputs, which is calculated with some weight factor and the bias. And we are using the transfer function over this to calculate our output. The way neural network works. These are our model performances. You can see it is very good. As you can see in the plot, I am not spending much time here in detail. Now come to the, as I discussed earlier, there are issues with the overfitting. How we are going to handle this? The same thing will come here also. Here we have handled this overfitting with the ensembling technique. Like multiple models we have developed with different algorithms, and we are making a committee of this, and we are taking the average, we are making average of this and taking that decision as the final decision. That's how our testing result in case of unseen data has come down. If you use single model, maybe some cases it will predict better, and some region it will predict better, but not in every case. To make a better model, so that when you are testing this model for a prediction of, suppose you will give some composition and some process parameters and tell, please estimate the properties for this. Sometimes it might behave well, sometimes it might not. To handle this, we have developed multiple models with different algorithms, and I have taken the ensemble of that. That's how we have handled the overfitting issue here. And in YS case, we have taken 5 models, and UTS, it was very good. So 2 models was sufficient. And in elongation, we have used 3 models. After that, we have tested this for a few. These are the test results for unseen data. Those sample cases were not used during training. You can see. Then next come how we are using AI in characterization. Here, I will just give the example of a DP600, what we have tried to characterize. As you know, in DP600, there is ferrite and also the second phase martensite is there. In some time, there is also benite present in martensite, which is unwanted. And we need to know how much percentage of benite is present with the martensite. For that, you need to do the nital edge, then you need to do the lapper edge, then only you will be able to see what is the second phases. And also in some cases it is very difficult to identify benite, and it also differs from person to persons. And there is a problem in calculating the phase fractions also. Whenever you will have problem, then you need to consult the experts, then only you will think this much benite is confirmed. And sometimes what happens in industry case, customers gives requirement, will accept your DP steel not above this much percentage of benite. Then we need to know how much benite is there in our DP steel. So for every time, what are the problem in preparing the laparized sample. That's why I thought we'll devise a method where from nital etched image, we'll be able to predict what are the percentage, what are the phases and its percentages. How we are going to do this? When we prepare the training, we need to prepare a training database for this. When we prepare the training database, for those DP steels, we prepare the laparized image as well as the nital etched image. Looking at the laparized image, we mark the nital etched image like this: the islands of ferrite, benite, and martensite. You can see benites are green, and martensite are red, and ferrite are blue. Like that, we have prepared many samples, and these are the database for our training algorithm. These are nothing but these pixels are being captured. How it will work, I am coming to it. That's how we have prepared the database. And when we develop the model, how we are testing it, we are just giving the nitrile image, and with this image, the system is predicting, yeah, this is ferrite, this is benite, and this is martensite. And also we are calculating the phase fractions. That's how it works. How it is working? As I told, we are preparing the nitrile image, then we are doing the ground truth preparation. And ground truth preparation, we using random forest classifier, we are using the feature extraction as each island of a ferrite, martensite, and bonite, we are labeling it as. So it is a random forest classification algorithm. Sorry. It is a random forest classification based algorithm where we are taking the mean variance entropy of the pixels and we are classifying it. What problem we faced here? You know, in the as I showed in the previous microstructures, there are ferrite, martensite, and benite. Many cases, what happened? Ferrite regions are wrongly classified as a benite and a martensite. Then benite, martensite phase fractions increased and ferrite phase fractions decreased. Then we thought, what is happening? Then doing a lot of testing, then we realized ferrite grain boundaries are being considered as martensite and benite. It is being included there. Then what we did that time? Then we developed first the algorithm to remove the edges. You can see this is the microstructure, initial microstructure, raw microstructure being prepared by nitrilized image. Then we remove the edges. Then if ferrite edges are not there, only ferrite, martensite, and benite. Then the as usual process, we after eroding the grain boundaries, then we calculated what are the phases and what is the phase fractions. Like this, you can see this is our model predicted, and to validate this, we had done the Laplarized, and these are the phase fractions calculated. This is the actual Laplarized images, and this is model calculated. That's how it works. Next, come to AI in alloy design. How we are using artificial intelligence in designing alloy or new product development. What are the stages involved in new product development? Initially, what we do before developing, you will do some kind of research, what product you are targeting. Then you do the thermodynamics study, chemistry, kinetics, what you are going to produce, what is your target properties. Then after the initial study, you will finalize the composition. Yeah, this much composition will be there, and also a range of process parameters will be this much, and do some kind of a laboratory simulator trial and error, like Glibble and other thing. We'll do some kind of laboratory simulator. Then after producing the material in the laboratory, then we'll through XRD and tensile testing, we'll see what is the structure, what is the property. Then after that only, it will not happen in one iteration. You have to do it number of iterations, and then you will go for production. When suppose you are finalized one composition, and production it may not be the exact. You will have the tolerance in composition, also in process parameters. Then only you will be able to produce the material. Then you will evaluate the quality to see whether your target properties are achieved or not for the new product development. This is a time consuming process. As it is a time consuming, it is also cost effective. Here, what is our need? We need to design a new product in a cost effective manner. Like your time should be less and cost also should be less. That is our aim here. Suppose take the scenario one, you have the chemistry and temperature. Some mathematical phase transformation model you used and manually you adjusted the constants, then you develop the model and you try to validate this with the model predicted kinetics and experimental kinetics, but it didn't match because you are just linearly or manually adjusting the constants, but it's not the same thing when you are predicting developing a new model. So many things are here to interact with, and also dynamics is there. You are thinking this thing, oh, carbon I am adding, then manganese I am putting, but you are not thinking all the parameters. There are a hell number of parameters. You are not thinking all the parameters simultaneously how they are impacting. There is no equation for this, which will uh, consider your carbon, manganese, your FRT, your CT, your thickness reduction, your furnace temperature, your cooling pattern. There is not a single equation where you can think of how all the parameters are behaving simultaneously. How you can do this when you have the chemistry temperature, then your phase transformation model, your experimental kinetics, all the data, all the knowledge you will put in a AI, then you and a optimizer, then you will get some optimized constants, optimized solutions. Then you will see your model predicted kinetics will match with your experimental kinetics. That's how we are going to develop the new product, and we are developing this. As I told in the first case, composition 1, 2, 3, 4, you can take, you do the synthesis and you calculate the structure and a property. This is time consuming and also it takes a lots of time. What is the problem here? Fast principle based models are domain specific, difficult to correlate the chain of development, as I told. When we are designing a chemistry for a new product, it is totally based on some of our experience and some available data and available literature. And when we are developing the product in a plant, we don't have any pilot plant. So we cannot develop a small heat and test it. The minimum quantity of a heat to be made to take a trial, that is also very costly. That's why we are using AI, which can correlate the chain of development. And development time will be reduced. And also we will be able to achieve our target property through optimizing our process parameters and a composition. That is the steps we are doing here. First, we are collecting the data that is based on our domain knowledge. Then pre-processing, we are developing a model for function approximation. Then you are using genetic algorithm, multi-objective optimization to find a combination of parameters to get the output property. Like we call this as a Pareto front. And then we are choosing any one of them, these solutions, that is also based on our domain knowledge. Then you are doing an experiment to just validate it. That's how the new product development cycle is being done. Here, just a pictorial I will show you. You have some desired property. Suppose you design a material with YS this much or UTS this much or elongation this much, and you need optimal solutions. What solutions? You need the set of chemistry and set of process parameters so that you can produce the material with the desired properties. Then you are setting your functions, objective functions like this, and also you are setting your constants. This is not only the problem here. Also, we need to produce the material within some process constants and also the composition constants. And here the optimization model is giving us the combination of YS and elongation. You are seeing these are all our solutions. Each point we have a different set of process parameter and properties. Here all the solutions are good. If you select this solution, here you will get high strength and a low ductility. If you select this solution, you will have high ductility and a low strength. Whatever solution needs to be selected and take trial on that, that depends on your meal constants, your available resources, and also cost. Based on all those factors, which you know better, you will pick a solution and take a trial on this. That's how the alloy design happens using AI. Now, AI in optimization. Last in the previous slide, what I showed, always you will not, it is not the case, you need to optimize the two properties. What is optimization? Optimization means current, whether you are trying to find a minimum or maximum value of one or more objectives, and with the whatever constraints you have. In that case, there are two different goals here in multi-objective optimization. You need to find the solution which as close as possible, as I showed in the Pareto front, and also you need to find a solution which is as diverse as possible. Always you cannot search a solution, as I showed here, only high strength area or a high ductility area. It should be the solution, it should be diverse enough to spread in the solution space. And also you need to optimize more than 3 or 4 properties if necessary, and which are conflicting in nature. That is also a challenge in case of optimization. Then it becomes a many objective optimization problems. With the increasing number of objectives, almost all solutions starts becoming non-dominated. And also it increases the computational efficiency, as the population size cannot be large and population size cannot also be small, which will be far from the your desired properties. And also when there are many number of objectives, visualization and representation also become an issue. That's why we have thought of developing another algorithm, that is I am two optimization algorithm. One is NSGA2, another is a MOEATD. In NSGA2, what happens here? Genetic algorithm is being used for optimization tool. First, you will have a initial population. You will estimate its fitness value. Then non-dominated sorting ranking will happen. And this will be followed inside this, you will have a selection, crossover, and mutation operation for generation over generation till you find a best solution. One problem with this is when your number of objectives are more than 2, then there is an issue with the diversity. We need to find a optimum or between convergence and diversity. Not only if you converge, then it is fine, not like that. You need to have a diversified set of solutions also. For that, we thought of developing this many objective optimization algorithm, where dominance and decomposition techniques are being used. What we are doing here in dominance and decomposition case, a set of weight vectors are uniformly placed in the given objective space, while decomposition method mention we are dividing the space into various subregions, so that different solutions can be associated with the different weight vectors during the processing of the algorithm, so that diversified solutions can be achieved in the Pareto front. Here only you how this algorithm works, you are initializing population, but also with the weight vectors and the neighborhood weight vectors, and you are keeping on generation over generation, you are calculating those solutions and comparing with the your objectives. The same here, it is being followed by selection, crossover, and mutation. But a main thing is here your solutions, past solution space, you are dividing into different subregions where different weight vectors you are giving, which are being associated with your solutions. Here just example I have given, 3 I have taken. Here elongation, UTS and YS, and these are the constants here. You need to produce, optimize elongation in between, and UTS 530 to 590 MPa and 440 MPa to 500 MPa YS. And with all your input parameters like composition, FRTCT, speed within the upper bound, lower bound as mentioned. Based on this, we have developed the optimization algorithm. One is using NSGA2 and another is using MOADD. In NSGA2, you can see there is an issue with the diversified solutions. Here you can see in case of MOADD, the solutions is spread very well. So you have the solution from all the areas from the solution space. And which one to pick up, that depends, as I told, depends on your mill capability, your available resource, and your cost and time. That's how optimization works. Then last one, microstructure prediction using convolutional autoencoder. You will find many models are available where you are predicting properties. Either you are predicting phase fractions or identifying phases. But you will not find any model where your microstructure is being predicted. But every metallurgist would like to see the microstructure at the end. And as I told in the phase identification model using random forest classifier, if you see the microstructure, want to see the microstructure, you have to prepare the sample, nitrate. In some cases, you have to do the laparage. That is the pen you have to take. But there is no such model available, which if you give the composition or process parameters, it will give you your microstructure. We are working on this type of problem where we are trying to predict the microstructure in pictorial form without doing any kind of sample preparation, etching or anything from the composition and the process parameters. This work is under development going on. Few things I will just share. Here we are using this, we have developed this model using convolutional autoencoder. As you know, convolutional autoencoder, there are three stages. You have one encoder and you have one bottleneck, then decoder. First, your image is processed using CNN algorithm, where your input is image and output is image. What you are trying to extract from it, you are trying to extract a latent vector from here. Latent vector is nothing but your feature matrix. This is just a number matrix, number vector. Why we are doing this? It is very important. Without losing any information, we are reducing the size and we are creating this vector so that we can recreate this during the decoding phase. So first we are doing the encoding, and here we are getting the latent vectors. These latent vectors in the next phase we are decoding it and recreating the image. That is the ultimate aim here. This will convolution layer, how it works. Initially one image you will take, then it is nothing but the pixels. Then we will keep on doing convolution and a pooling. And finally, you will create the latent vector. Then after latent vector, again, you will do the deconvolution operation and uppooling to recreate the image. That's how it works. Here, just I will quickly give one example. Suppose this is an original image of microstructure, and this is 512 into 512 cross 1 matrix size pixels. And we are processing this with a layer of convolutions. First, we created a 512 into 512 into 6. Then we pooling operation happened. Then it became 256 into 256 into 6. Then again we did the convolution, again pooling. This layer of operation we did. Then finally, the latent vector is created. And after this, the latent vector, again we did the uppooling and deconvolution. This is also being followed layer after layer. so that we can recreate this. You can see this is the original image and this is the recreated image. These are few examples I have given here. This is a test result, in fact, not the training. All these are test result, you can see. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your insightful talk. It's really impressing, and the things are related to what is happening inside the steel making or say in industry. That is really helpful for us and for the student also. Now I am requesting student. So if anyone have any question, any doubt, so please raise your hand so we can unmute you and we can ask your question. So, ma'am, I think no one have no question. So thank you, ma'am, for your talk and for your time. So I know you are very busy, but so thank you for accepting my invitation for this talk.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. See you, ma'am.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, dear students. So before lunch we finish the both talk. So after lunch we will start from 2 p.m. onwards. So our next talk will be coming from IIT Indore. So from Dr. Chandan Haldar. Okay, so we'll start sharply 2 p.m. and followed by our valedictory session, means our closing statement for this ongoing workshop. Okay, so see you then. See you all at sharply 2 p.m.